There's certainly a lot of screens now delivering content in museums, and screens are ubiquitous not only in museums but in everyone's hand and in everyone's home. So they are everywhere. So a lot of the exhibit design that we look at is like, well, what are some experiences that you can have in the museum that you cannot have on a screen anywhere? Certainly screens are helpful, and we have plenty of them here too, but this is something different from a screen. We have a number of experiences here that are very physical, very real, that you have to see in person. You can take video of this and it looks pretty neat, but to come here and see it and walk around it and see the city in 3 dimensions is what we want the next generation of museum experience to be.
I want to say it's the largest scale in terms of projection mapping that's out there right now. But this type of interactivity is what we're leaning towards for the whole Wiess Energy Hall. So it's definitely something to look at and watch and not be glanced over as a traditional diorama might be.
Way back a few years ago, a couple of museum board members saw an exhibit in Hamburg, Germany, and the exhibit is called Miniature Wunderland, and it is essentially an HO scale model train layout, but far beyond that. It's thousands of square feet of moving cars and cityscapes and things that happen, a very dynamic model of a city. And so that sort of inspired us to say, hey, well, that's kind of neat, but how could we adapt that and make something that's related to energy for the new Wiess Energy Hall? And so we looked at a couple of different things, and we decided that maybe doing it as the way they do it, with actual moving mechanical things, trains and cars that are actual mechanical pieces, wouldn't be the best way to do it. What if we do this idea of something that's a little bit newer called projection mapping, and make the entire model white, and then use projectors to project everything onto the model to make it come to life? We spent a couple of years seeing how that goes, and now this is how that goes.
So I did most of the layout and design of Energy City in 3D, and then I did I did all the buildings, like the downtown buildings, and I also did the suburbs. Before this, I was a video game animator for 21 years. It was fun, but this has been really exciting because I've never actually had something made. It's always just been digital, so like actually seeing this, I was just kind of blown away when I first saw it. So we started out with the grid because we had so many assets. There's 193 tiles on here, and each one of them has either buildings or houses or solar array. But that was just so we could track all the assets that we needed to. We had to basically model and design one of these tiles every day to keep up with the production.
So it's a lot of coordinating with Laura, just figuring out how to break out all the buildings and making a 3D object into something that's 2D, basically treating it like cabinetry and just being able to lay it flat and cut it out. So it's like putting Legos together or building blocks, just making very intricate boxes. So some of the buildings are very simple, so it was very easy to accidentally build the building upside down. Building Houston from the ground up was definitely an undertaking. I mean, I've lived in Houston for most of my life. I've come to the Science Museum here since I was just like a little one. It's just amazing.
It's mostly just trying to show all forms of energy generation and how they're incorporated into the city. We're not showcasing one over the other. It's just kind of a standoff view of these are some of the most popular forms of energy generation and how they contribute to society.